What's up, guys? I'm back with All Ball Talk, and today we're going to be going over the college ball matchup of Oregon versus Texas Tech. This game is obviously 11 a.m. on New Year's Day. It should be a very competitive game. I think these are two very good teams. Obviously, Texas Tech in the Big 12 dominated everybody they played, and Oregon, they obviously lost to Indiana. They've had some not so dominant looking wins. Like they've definitely struggled more than you'd think for a Dan Lanning team. But it should be a very competitive game. The spread is set at 2.5 in Oregon's favor. I personally like Oregon to cover. I mean, I'll do it later, but I think Texas Tech. I think their defense is legit. They have Jacob Rodriguez, David Bailey. I think that pass rush, as long as if the pass rush can show up, it's been shown that Dante Moore can be flustered in games. We've seen it. For example, Wisconsin or Indiana. Like when he gets flustered, he tends to kind of have inaccuracy, and that's the blueprint of your Texas Tech. If you can get Dante Moore, if you can stop Dante Moore from getting into a flow, then he's been shown to be flustered. Although I think that he's obviously a really good player. Like he can still make throws, and obviously Oregon does get all their weapons back. So I'm interested to see how Texas Tech lines up against them. But Jacob Rodriguez has to show why people were campaigning for him to be a Heisman finalist. And obviously I think he might be tasked with going against Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon Sadiq's obviously one of the best playmakers in the entire country. Like he's really good. DeCorian Moore will be back. Gary Bryant Jr. And obviously they have the running backs Whittington and Dr. Hill, who's I honestly didn't even know who he was as a recruit, and he's getting consistent carries, looking really good. But yeah, I've been really impressed with this Oregon team. They've had some wins that it's been like, I think you could have showed a little bit more, but then they've had other wins that were just flat out dominant. And I think when Oregon has all their weapons fully healthy, I think this is one of the most dangerous countries in the or most dangerous offenses in the country. I think that if you look at Oregon and their offenses in the past have been like the quick game and setting up these explosives where they're scheming guys wide open. They're doing stuff after the catch. And I think they should give Texas Tech fits. I think that Texas Tech is still a really good team. I believe in their defense more than their offense. And Oregon has the weapons. And it's all going to come down to who can generate more explosive plays in this game, in my opinion. And I'm assuming that Oregon will generate more explosive plays, which I'll get to in a sec. But Texas Tech, they have to get objective number one is they have to get to Dante Moore, because if they let Dante Moore just sit in the pocket all day, he's going to fire those accurate throws to the intermediate levels, and they're going to be getting 15 to 20 yards a pop every play. And almost more importantly, is if you can contain the run, because the run game has been good, but it hasn't been great for Oregon. If they can contain the run and cause more passing game from Dante Moore, make them one dimensional, it should give them fits. As if you make any offense one dimensional in a game, you're probably going to succeed. But I think that Dante Moore, I believe in him, but I don't know how developed of a product he is. And we haven't really seen a game where the game was in Dante Moore's hands. Like we haven't seen, for instance, a Josh Allen moment. Like we haven't seen Dante Moore, just like I don't know how many Oregon wins I've watched, and I've thought, man, Dante Moore won them that game. Dante Moore looked amazing, and he is definitely the reason that Oregon won that game. And I think you've seen that obviously with Mendoza. But, if you can make him one-dimensional as any offense, like Texas Tech will have a good shot at winning the game. But I will say I'm more worried. Look at my notes here. I am worried about Texas Tech's offense because I think they have poor red zone efficiency. I think that Oregon has a good defense, and if they can get to the quarterback, if they can get to Baron Morton, he can't move. but you know what? He is a really good thrower of the football. He's a really good passer. So I think if Texas Tech if they can establish a run game early with Cameron Dickey, then I think that they should still be competitive. But as we've seen, Texas Tech has had some struggles moving the ball this year, and I think if they're in the red zone and they're not converting, if they're not, instead of having 3 points, if they're having 7 points, they should win the game. But it worries me a little bit because Oregon is a very good defense. They have Bear Alexander. They have the best. They have top secondary in the nation. Like, I'm a little hesitant to buy in fully into Texas Tech because the strength of schedule has not been good. Like, you're playing in the Big 12. That's not the Big 10, and the Big 12 was a cakewalk. I don't think that BYU is a college ball playoff caliber team. While I'll think they're a good team, they're not college ball playoff caliber, and it was right of the committee to not let them in. But I think that they haven't really been challenged, and I think there's going to be a little bit of an athleticism athlete shock playing Oregon that they haven't faced all year. And I'm honestly expecting Oregon to play a hounding defense. I think that Kenyon Sadiq, DeCorian Moore, they're going to light up Texas A&M in the second half. I do think that there will be an adjustment period in this game where I think that Texas A&M will get to Dante Moore a little bit, and it'll be like, I would expect a low scoring first half in my opinion. I think that Oregon will take a little bit of time to settle in, but I think once they make that halftime adjustment, once they can control David Bailey a little bit, put Jacob Rodriguez in some tough spots, I think that Oregon wins this game. I think they definitely cover the 2.5 spread. Also, I do think it's important. Oregon, they are 32nd in penalties. 32nd in penalties in the nation. They're averaging over 5 a game. And so if they are going to be penalized and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot constantly, they cannot afford to give Texas Tech a chance to get back into a game, or they can't give them a chance to win the game, honestly, on stupid penalties. Because, and you wouldn't expect this from a Dan Lanning coach team. Like, you'd think they'd be a pretty disciplined team. It's kind of been a weird year, but as long as they keep the penalties down, which they've shown that they have not been able to do, I think they win this game handedly. I think that they could give up some penalty yards, which could lead to Texas Tech being in Oregon territory. But Texas Tech has struggled in the red zone, especially because I think that a mobile quarterback in the red zone actually helps a lot, and I think that's not really seen. Like, I don't know how many play action bootlegs you're going to have Baron Morton in. It's going to be kind of tough, but it is important for Oregon needs to control the clock, because if they can slow this game down, control the clock, and force Texas Tech into a lot of passing downs, I'm not as confident in the Texas Tech passing offense. So I think if they can control the clock, if they can have long, sustained drives, because they do have a really good run game, and I think that they can put the ball in the end zone, I think that would really help. And I think that'll definitely win the game. If they can get to Morton a few times this game, especially in huge spots, I think they'll be fine. I think that I like Oregon to win by 3 and cover the 2.5 spread. I do see a way that Texas Tech can win the game, because I think they can neutralize the offense of Oregon that has not been as potent as previous years with guys like Dylan Gabriel and Bo Nix. So I do see a way, but in my opinion, I think Oregon will overpower them in the second half. I think this will be, again, another semi-low scoring game. I could see something like 24-17 or 24-20. I think that Oregon wins in a pretty tight game. I think they pull away late, just like in Miami and Ohio State. But yeah, my official prediction will be Oregon wins this game, and I think they move on to the next round.